Welcome to AskReddit Stories, where I bring you the most amazing stories from all of Reddit. Sit back, relax, and let's dive right in. Story number 1. How I got a car dealership to give my friend a newer car. In January 2020, my friend made a stupid decision and bought a brand new car he couldn't afford. His insurance is like $400 a month, and he makes like $10.25 an hour working as a shift supervisor at McDonald's. His car payment is $800 a month. Now at $10.25 an hour, 30 hours a week is a weekly income of about $300 a week, or about $1,200 a month. So my friend came to me for help because I used to sell cars and know the industry pretty well. I go over his paperwork. The dealer did rip him off, but my friend is trying to find a way to get out of this mess, and ripping someone off isn't illegal. They did of course overcharge him for warranty, they gave him a higher APR, they had add-ons, etc. But none of this is illegal, and I know the only way I can get my friend out of this deal is if they did something illegal. So I looked at the finance application that my friend had signed. It correctly listed his income, which turned a light bulb on in my head. No bank is going to approve someone for an $800 car payment if they're only making $1,200 a month. It doesn't make any mathematical sense to do that. So I start searching through his paperwork for the finance application that the dealer submitted to the bank. Oftentimes, when you submit a finance application at a dealership, the dealership will take the hand-filled application and reproduce it electronically. This is pretty normal. However, on the application the dealer submitted to the bank, the dealer said my friend was the general manager of the McDonald's and made $70,000 a year. My friend had good credit, so it doesn't appear like the bank asked for proof of income. So, I go to the dealership with my friend and tell the sales manager that he's going to want to put me in touch with the general manager because we're going to be unwinding my friend's deal and giving him his trade-in back. The sales manager thought I was joking. The general manager also thought I was joking. Then, I demonstrated how his dealership finance department committed bank fraud. I showed the general manager the finance application my friend filled out. I then showed the general manager the finance application his dealership submitted to the bank and pointed out the income difference. My friend made $14,000 a year, and the dealership claimed my friend made $70,000 a year. That's bank fraud, that's a felony, let's keep this simple, shall we? The general manager sees that his dealership is in a load of shit. He knows it, I know it, we're all on the same page. He goes, okay, so what can I do to make this right? I go, unwind the deal, and give my friend his trade-in back. Unwinding the deal is basically the general manager agreeing to cancel the deal and basically erasing the deal and pretending that it never happened. The general manager tries to avoid this, but I remain firm and remind him that we can easily take this documentation and turn his life into a living hell. He knows that I'm right. The general manager says he'll look into it. He comes back and tells me that unfortunately, they sold my friend's trade-in already. I said, that's fine, unwind the deal and let's put my friend into something as good or slightly better than what he traded in. So the general manager goes, he'll buy a car similar to his trade-in? I said, no. You'll give him a car similar to his trade-in. The general manager goes, it doesn't work that way. I go, it does when you commit bank fraud. The general manager is visibly upset with me and I remind him, I'm being really nice and this situation can get really ugly. Like felony level charges ugly. Like losing your franchise ugly. So yeah, this is going to hurt, but it'll hurt less my way. So the general manager goes, alright, and tells me they have a 2007 Ford Focus with 10,000 more miles. I tell him, no, the car you give my friend needs to be the same or better than what he traded in. The general manager counters, I'm giving him a free car. And I go, no, you took his trade-in, you sold it. You made money on that sale. You also committed a felony in the process of selling him his new car. You are now correcting that mistake. This isn't a free car for my friend, this is you correcting your mistake. The general manager insists that's all he's willing to do. I tell him, if he can't do better than that, we'll have to go to a consumer protection attorney and have a conversation with them. My friend didn't want to go this route, but it was our plan B. We go to get up, the general manager seems to panic and says, wait, give me a second. I have a 2008 Civic, it has 5,000 more miles, but it's a Civic and not a Focus. I'll unwind the deal on the new car and put your friend in the Civic at no extra cost. We agree. The general manager has the papers drawn up, the loan on the new car is cancelled, and they take in the new car again, and give my friend the Civic, a better car than the one he traded in. Story number 2. Our neighbors kept parking in our lot, so I froze them out. This happened around 20 years ago. Our family owned 2 apartment buildings, 3 units each. We lived in 2 of them and rented out the other 4. There's nothing but these 3-unit apartments lining both sides of the road for about a mile. Not all of them have parking. On the side streets are houses and very little street parking. We had more land than most of these units since it was also our home, so we had parking for around 16 cars. Everything was fine for literally decades. Then, cars started appearing in our parking lot that were not our tenants. I blocked one in one day, went outside to see this asshole drove through our bushes and across the yard to get out. I called the cops, nothing they could do. So I called a towing company and had them put up signs. The signs seemed to work, no more random cars. Until New Year's Eve one year. I arrive home and every single space is filled. There are even cars on the street blocking in the other cars. I'm beyond pissed. I call the towing company, but they can't do anything for a few hours because they're so busy. We're in the Chicago suburbs. It's below 0 out. I have an idea. I dig out the lawn sprinklers and hoses. I run one hose inside to the laundry room faucet and turn on the hot water. This way, the hose and sprinklers won't ice up, but the cars and ground sure did. 3 sprinklers moved every half hour or so for almost 5 hours. Every car, every square inch of the parking lot, the street by the cars, all encased in ice. I made it a point to spray ice inside the locks, between the window seals and glass, and inside the grills. I put away the sprinklers and hoses and then went to bed. At 4 a.m., I hear furious pounding on the doors, doorbells ringing non-stop. We just smiled and called the cops. Waited until they arrived and went outside. The cops were holding back laughter. These people were told to park here by their friend who owned an apartment several blocks away. The same idiot who drove over our bushes. I pointed to the tow sign and told the people to move their cars or get towed. In our town, cops can ticket on private property with the owner's permission, so all cars were ticketed. They were also towed since nobody could get in their vehicle. I wish we had it on video. Story number 3. Want some free gas? I got you, bro. So several years ago, my friend, we'll call him Boris, and I would always help each other do the spring cleanup for our properties. This includes taking out damaged trees, preparing garden plots, and taking care of our weed-infested yards. I was going to be first on the cleanup detail, so I prepared tools and implements the Friday before the big cleanup was to happen, sharpening tools and chainsaw chains, the lawnmower blade, and just getting everything in order. Among those tasks was mixing gas with 2-cycle oil. I finished up kind of late and generally put things away for the next day. The next morning, Boris shows up with coffee and biscuits around 8 in the morning. As we're sitting on his tailgate enjoying breakfast, my neighbors ride by in their beat-to-hell Chevy Cavalier smoking like a freight train. We'll call them Rocky and Bullwinkle. Boris and I made the usual jokes about the amount of smoke pouring from the exhaust. Damn, bet they go to the gas station to fill up with oil and check the gas. We soon finished breakfast and thought no more of it. As we began to get the tools laid out, I realized that I can't find my gas cans. No mixed gas, no regular gas, or any cans of gas in general. That's when it dawned on us why the car Rocky and Bullwinkle were driving was smoking so bad. I'm pissed to say the least. Well, all Boris and I could do was go shopping for gas cans, gas, and more 2-cycle oil. After we returned, we saw Rocky and Bullwinkle pass by several times, but all in all, we got a lot done. A weekend or two go by, and we have a family dinner at my wife's, Rocky, and Bullwinkle's grandparents' house. Toward the latter part of the evening, we were having a few drinks. Most people had left, and I was chatting with my wife's grandfather when I had to take a leak. As I was doing so, I saw a gas can with very distinct paint on it. I inquired from the old man about how it came into his possession, and he said that Rocky and Bullwinkle left it there. I simply explained that it was mine, as was another, and loaded them onto my truck. It ate at me every time I saw that piece of shit car with my piece of shit neighbors go by. So I hatched a plan. I went and bought a few gallons of gas, a few gallons of diesel fuel, and some other various oils. I made a concoction of these different chemicals and filled my new 6-gallon gas can. With some clean gas, I filled the lawnmower and cut some grass that evening, making sure Rocky and Bullwinkle saw me. Then, I put everything away but pretended to forget and leave the dirty gas out. I got up and went to work the next morning and didn't even think to check on the can. But when I got home, I checked and it was gone. My wife informed me that my plan must have worked as she watched Rocky and Bullwinkle go in and out with the car not only smoking, but spitting and sputtering as well. The last time they rode out, they didn't ride back in. They gave me about an hour of peace before they came over and wanted to know if I could look at the car and see what was wrong. If it couldn't be fixed on the side of the road, maybe I could tow it home. My response: I've had a long day and have a migraine. maybe tomorrow. I saw the panic set in. That's when they told me they had no insurance and it was on a main road. I told them, tough luck. So the highway patrol ran across the car and had it towed. It was going to cost them around $500 to get it out of impound, plus they had to have current registration and insurance. The car simply wasn't worth it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more, consider subscribing. Also, check out the music used in this video in the pinned comment or in the description. See you next time.